Hey folks, this is Ryan from ORS Racks Direct here in Vermont, the biking capital of New England, the biking capital of the Northeast, the East Coast, the whole world. We're into biking and we like nice bike trays, and this is the brand new RockyMounts PitchFork bike tray. Big fan of this guy, very sleek design, and I'm going to go so far as to call it sexy. Low profile, and it has a lot of great features. Here we've got a silver pitchfork, and it's available in multiple colors. It's kind of the deal with Rocky Mounts. The old lariats could, they had camo, they had pink, they had red, and as does the pitchfork, multiple colors to choose from. Today we went with silver. So, a couple things about the pitchfork. It will attach directly to Thule bars, Inno bars such as these, and Yakima round bars. It will not attach to factory crossbars, however. That's where the noose comes into play. The Rocky Mount noose will attach to virtually all factory bars. However, pitchfork, once again, Thule, Yakima, and Inno only. And right now we've got it strapped down to some Inno bars. The way that it attaches, by the way, it's got this little cover over here that you remove, and there are two bolts that attach to the lower mounting plate, which is sort of hinged or clasped to the front end. And so you basically attach it to your bar, you tighten down these two bolts, and it tightens that plate up against the underside of the bar, nice and secure. And then you throw the cover back on, and you are done. There's a rear snap around to clamp onto the rear bar here. If you want to lock the tray itself to the bar, the lock core will slide right into this cylinder right here. Now the skewer also has, or will accept, a lock core as well. And that's pretty important because this will allow you to lock the bicycle itself to the carrier. But if you want to lock the carrier to the bar, that requires a separate lock core. You can buy a 2-pack of locks and have the same key, but if you are concerned with locking the carrier as well as the bike, you need to buy 2 locks, and so make sure when you get this that you do that. Alright, now, another nice thing about this tray, it has a little cutout right here, so that any disc caliper will not interfere. So this is totally disc compatible. Any oversized suspension fork will typically work. Now if you've got a through axle or a Cannondale Lefty or a Maverick, then you're going to want a fork adapter. Here we've got a 15mm through axle fork adapter from Yakima. So this is just an accessory to consider if you have something other than a standard 9mm axle. It just basically pops into place and you tighten it down, and then your axle will go through there. Alright? But today we're working with a regular road bike with a standard axle, so no big deal. The other nice thing about this tray, they've actually extended the length of the tray from the standard lariat so that it can accept bikes with really long wheelbases, 29ers, road bikes, even downhill bikes. As far as the tire width, up to 2.7 inches, and obviously down to the narrowest of all. The wheel strap can slide. I mean, they're independent, but you obviously line them up and you slide them to where you need them to cinch the rear wheel down. And so, I mean, this thing's got it all. And as I said, I think it looks really nice. Alright, so let's load this thing up. I'm going to grab my trusty Cannondale road bike, which, although is quite happy starring in these videos, is much happier out on the road. But too bad, today it's doing videos. You drop the fork down, and check this out. That is clamped down secure. Open it up, there's plenty of room to bypass the safety tabs at the end of the dropout. This thing has 12mm of throw. It's the longest throw skewer available, so you don't have to worry about tightening the nut on the opposite end. Once you've adjusted this, and you adjust it simply by spinning the skewer itself, the handle, you can just open and close it. So it's a super easy to use skewer. And again, you can slide a lock cylinder in there and you can lock it down so your bike is secure. And then as far as your rear wheel strap, you just pretty much line up the strap and cinch it down. And you're good to go. Love it. That is a nice fork-mounted bike carrier from Rocky Mounts. It's a new product this year. Again, they still have the Lariat in the lineup, as well as the Noose, which is for factory bars. But for a really premium, sleek, racy, and I'm going to say it again, sexy look for a fork-mounted bike carrier, check out the RockyMounts PitchFork. Go with silver, go with black, go with red, whatever color you like. And have a great ride. Have a good one. Bye.